Diary, good evening. It is the middle of November 2024, and in my hands, or on the table, is the latest Mac Mini. So this is going to be a boxing and a ramble on about why you should or shouldn't buy this computer. Now, if you focus in on the detail, it says 16 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes of SSD. So you'll notice that this is the bargain basement model, and in a previous video I've droned on about the fact that whilst the base model starts at 599 GBP in the UK and here in Switzerland 599 CHF, Swiss francs, it soon gets more expensive if you add on memory or disk, and you're likely to want to do either. And then it starts to get expensive. So all up, if you look at the previous video, you'll see that the spec of the version I wanted to order is about £2,000 plus. But this is the bargain basement one, it's just under £600 in the UK. So I've got my Stanley knife and we're going to investigate whether this is worthy of our cash. So this is the unboxing part and the ramble, and there'll be a later part where I actually try to do something constructive. So this will be the embarrassing part where I shake the box and nothing happens. Oh, there's another bit here, hang on. Now, Apple doesn't send me anything for free, so I've had to buy this with my own money, and I shall evaluate it. And in Switzerland, you may or may not, you can't return anything. So I'm going to have to sell it at a loss. So this is costing me hard-earned savings. And it really doesn't want to come out. Let's see if we can push that tab. And put off this tab here and see if that makes a difference. Oh, do you know what? That does make a difference. Well, that's off Apple. So as about 1 million of the reviewers have said, this is a marked departure from the previous Mac Minis. We've got European plug here, by the way. Designed by Apple in California, obviously not made anywhere near California. Paper box. Oh, we've got a sticker. Oh, got some. Don't kill yourselves with 15 watts of power, probably. 2024. So you get in the box. You get the box, the out of it, and a mains cable for Europe. Now, there's a rather beautiful piece of paper here which I don't want to ruin because I need to pass this on to someone who would like to take it off my hands for bargain price. Let's just try and do this very gently. Okay. Screw it up. So it has come off very neatly. Now I have a prop which is a lovely petite iPhone. So this is an iPhone 13 mini, and you'll see that it's literally just slightly smaller than an iPhone 13 mini. It's a square box. So if you remember the old Mac Mini design, it's obviously got, it's as though somebody's kind of squeezed the package. Instead of it being a wider square, it's a smaller square. I have heard reports on the interweb that people are a bit cross about that because you can't use it as a monitor stand anymore, but literally it is tiny. And the reason it is tiny is because, and don't forget by the way, this doesn't need a power brick. So the unique thing about a Mac Mini compared with many other mini PCs in the Windows world is that the others invariably need an external power brick, but somehow Apple has managed to not need an external power brick. And how is that possible? And the reason is they've been rather clever, and they've actually completely, half of this Mac Mini is actually power supply. And then this actual outer cover is an aerial, and underneath that is a motherboard. So it is remarkably compact. So you've got the motherboard here, you've got the power supply at the bottom, you've got the aerial shield here, and you've also got, humorously, the power button on the underneath. So the reason they put the power button on the underneath is that they don't ever really want you to switch this off. They want you to leave it in standby, and with an Apple keyboard, you can just wake it up by pressing the Touch ID button. Although if you buy an Apple keyboard, that's going to cost you about 200 GBP. But the new ones do come with a USB-C interface. So what do you get for your money? So you're getting 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is a delight for new purchasers. But unfortunately, everyone who's been buying Apple products for about the last 4 years and who've been taking Apple's default spec is now saddled with a machine that Apple are telling you isn't going to work very well. So on the plus side, this machine has got 16 gigabytes, but all the other machines that are going around have a prop. So I spent about £1,500 on this Apple MacBook when it came out, and it's only got 8 gigabytes of memory because Apple said their 8 gigabytes was going to be fine, but now they're telling me it's not going to be fine, so that's not good. But back to the Mac Mini, we've got two USB 4, so those are 10 gigabit ports on the front. You've got a headphone jack on the front and a power LED, and on the back you've got an amazing 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a full-size HDMI and a LAN socket. So there have been various rumours about the Mac Mini and how its shape would change and how its ports would change. And the rumours were accurate in the sense that there are no full-size USB ports at all anymore. But there are 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. And if you know your IT, then you know you can expand using a Thunderbolt dock. And Thunderbolt docks start at about 100 GBP and go up to several hundred GBP. And for, let's say, 200 or 300 GBP, you can pick up a Thunderbolt dock which has like 15 or 16 ports. And those ports can include extra screen connectors, DisplayPort connectors, extra LAN connectors, and extra Thunderbolt and USB connectors. So it's fair to say that with these 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, your expansion options are pretty limitless. And so all credit again to Apple. So as an Apple skeptic of many, many years, I would say on the plus side, you're getting, for the base configuration, just a bonkersly powerful entry-level computer. And for most users, even users doing some basic iMovie work, that would include people like myself, this machine would do you fine. And if you want to connect via a faster 1 gigabit network link instead of your Wi-Fi 6 link, you could use the Ethernet. You can connect a regular screen on the HDMI, or you can connect a screen via the Thunderbolt port, but that would cost you lots of extra cash. So I think the new Mac Mini is an absolute winner for base configurations. And if you compare its cost with Mac Studio, then it's also an absolute winner for the M4 Pro configuration, although that configuration is going to cost you in the UK at least 2,000 GBP. Now, I've done some calculations as to the delta between buying one of these and buying a MacBook Pro laptop, and it's roughly about £500. So if you need an M4 Pro laptop, or you choose an M4 Pro laptop instead of one of these, you could take the price of this guy and add about £500 and you'll get yourself an M4 Pro laptop. And if you want an M4 Max device, you'll have to choose the laptop because there's no M4 Pro Max CPU in this form factor. But if you look at the specs of the M4 Max chip, you still get the same number of cores, CPU cores, as the M4 Pro. So what we get with the M4 Max is extra GPU cores. So you could say that the M4 Pro in the Mac Mini is as a powerful CPU as you can possibly get in the M4 range. You won't get the extra GPU cores, but you will get the same CPU cores. So I've said in the previous video that really, if you're kind of a professional, you probably want a desktop computer and a separate laptop computer. But today, if you want to save money, you could just not buy the Mac Mini and buy an M4 Pro or M4 Max MacBook Pro instead, and just have one device that does everything. But then of course, if you've got a failure of any kind, you're completely screwed. So I still think the best option for today's professional who already has a Mac computer is probably to buy an M4 Pro Mac Mini and keep your laptop, because it's very unlikely your laptop, which you use when you're away in a portable environment, needs that extra power. And I certainly will be recommending this device to anyone who actually wants an entry-level computer, because I really think for $599 it's an unbeatable configuration. It's going to be a screamingly fast computer that can run more or less all the software that you need, and let's face it, most people are just going to be using a browser. And if you want to expand it, you've got either the 10 gigabit ports here, or you have got the Thunderbolt ports here, and that's just, I just can't explain how amazingly powerful this machine is for the money. So yes, I'm afraid, as a lifelong Apple skeptic, I'm going to say this machine is 100% not upgradable, which is shocking. It will have resale value because it's an Apple computer and people are always clamouring to buy second-hand Apple computers. And it represents excellent value for money. The power button is on the bottom because Apple doesn't really ever want you to switch the computer off. And it's in a ridiculously compact form factor that you can either stick on the back of your screen or just have unobtrusively on your desk. So yes, Apple, you win again. Buy this computer. I'm giving it 100% thumbs up, and at the end of this performance review, this will be also for sale at a bargain price. So watch this space. Thanks for watching.